Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. It's crunch time at Euro 2024. We're down to the final 8 teams and the quarterfinals get underway today. On this episode, we're going to look at all 4 of those upcoming games and discuss where we think the key battles will be and who will come out victorious from each. Ready for this, boys?
Ready for it, yeah. This is
confident?
where England step on the gas a bit, isn't it?
Well, let's hope so. We'll come to England shortly, but let's do them in order of the games that they come. And so we'll start with Germany, Spain. Probably the 2 most impressive dynamic teams in the opening stages, do you think?
Spain, definitely. I think they've gone right from the off, haven't they? They know the system. Everyone's been at it. Really impressive, whoever they've put in. And they've been the best team in the tournament up to now, I think. But Germany, I think, have also, they're under huge pressure in their own country. So they'll have the backing of all their fans here, and that might make it a little bit more difficult for Spain. But I think Spain will win this one.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is.
Germany, home crowd,
Yeah.
the balance of the team is really good. It's a really close one to call this. I probably do agree with Alan in terms of Spain have been the most attractive team. They've played really good football. It looks like they've got a system which they all know. We've talked about Nico Williams being effective from that left-hand side and Yamal Morata up front. Defensively, I'm not sure.
We've not seen them defend yet, really, have we?
Sorry?
We've not seen them defend. They've spent pretty much the whole tournament in the last third of the pitch, attacking-wise.
Yes, but if you look at the chances they concede on the counter-attack, I'm just thinking with a Wirtz, a Musiala...
Wirtz.
Is that better? Wirtz and Musiala. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to call, in all honesty. I mean, you can look at all the tactics within the game, but on the day, it might just come down to a moment of brilliance. And I think if I'm going for balance, I prefer Germany's balance a little bit better in terms of defensive, midfield, and then attack.
I suppose, really, because it's the first time they've 2 big nations going against each other, they've not really had that massive test so far. So this will be a big test for both of them in a way.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. I think it's going to be a cracking game. I think there'll be definitely goals in this game. I think there'll be plenty of them. But I said Spain for me. I think they've been the best in the tournament, and they've been at it right from the first game. So that's why I'm going Spain.
Yeah, there's an amazing amount of young talent out there, isn't there, in this game? You mentioned a couple already, but Musiala as well, of course. He's one of a few players on 3 goals, so he'll be looking to add to his tally to try and win that golden boot. Füllkrug and Havertz have both scored a couple as well. So they've got, those 3 players have got 7 between them. And I just wonder whether Germany have got the quality that Spain have. But I don't know. It is a tough one to call. I think it could go to extra time, this one. I agree. Surely it's got to be goals because both teams press so high, don't they? Both teams probably vulnerable to the counter-attack. It's just a question. I think the one question has always been about Spain is can they finish teams off? I mean, they did in the last round, didn't they? Banged a few goals in, but against the opposition like Germany, whether they've got enough, and they're very young players as well. I know we keep saying about someone like Lamine Yamal that is incredible and still play, but 16 years old, you do have to ask the question: can you do it against Germany? It's a massive ask of him, but he doesn't seem to be fazed by anything. I'm actually going to go just for Germany.
Are you really?
I just think that, I am. I obviously I played in Spain. I'm very fond of Spain. They're a brilliant side. They've been the most entertaining team to watch in the tournament so far.
Well, you got 8 from 8.
I did. I did.
One.
I've been thinking about this one, and I think it. I mean, obviously, it could go either way. We don't know, but I just think that home crowd and their organisation and their coach. Although Rodri doesn't lose football matches. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah.
Imagine Toni Kroos versus Rodri battle in midfield. That's going to be brilliant. Even though they're opposite sides, so obviously both sixes. Who's going to dominate the ball? Because the positions that Toni Kroos has been getting into, he's dictating play. But then you've got Rodri on the other side. You've got Carvajal, who's a serial winner for Real Madrid. But on the opposite side to that, you've got Tony Rudiger, who's been outstanding for Real Madrid this season as well. Then you've got someone like Tar, who plays for Leverkusen, and the run that they went on this year, confidence. But then you've got the young, fearless talent, like you said. It's going to be exciting, but yeah, I agree with you. Just Germany.
Are you? I'm the only one that's going. You're both going against Spain.
That might separate you, though.
Oh, I love it, lads.
I
love it. Spain for me, yeah.
Okay, 2 for Germany, 1 for Spain, but I don't think any of us really know. Well, we never do anyway. So, right, let's move on to the game we're covering on BBC. France versus Portugal, Mbappé against Ronaldo.
Cool.
Whoa, tasty clash that. 2 superstars. I suppose, along with Messi, the 3 big superstars in world football, still Messi and Ronaldo in terms of notoriety and fame, but they can still do it.
I mean, 39 years of age. It's remarkable that he's still going at this level, albeit he's not as good as he was. It has to be about him. There's no way he can ever be left out. I mean, yeah. Again, it's a tough one to call,
Neither side of, I mean, apart from perhaps the first game, Portugal, neither side of I would say, lived up to the pre-tournament hype as yet. France have been a bit all over the place. They got 2 own goals and a penalty.
Yeah,
so
3
far.
goals. That's it. 2 on and 1 pen from Mbappé.
But they've got themselves through. Portugal in the the last couple of games have struggled to score the goals. Went to penalties obviously in the last round. So this could be actually, despite the fact you've got 2 of the greatest forwards to have ever played the game, it could be quite cagey.
Yeah, I think it will be. I'm looking at getting that midfield battle. I think Vitinha, not only in his tournament so far, but for PSG this season, middle midfield, really excellent, can dictate play, backed up by Paulinho, just sort of mopping up in that midfield area. France, they've been underwhelming, to say the least. You mentioned the goals that they're scoring. They don't seem to have the balance right. I don't think Portugal have the balance right as well, but they're still creating a lot of chances. Both are creating a lot of chances. It's a hard one. Yeah. This is. I'm gonna go Portugal. I'm gonna go against my man Kylian Mbappé, and I would never normally go against him.
If you're Mbappé, you have a look at that Pepe performance the other evening, particularly late on, and you're thinking you got to get it. He has to try and isolate him somehow and get and play on him. 41 years of age against the pace and everything else that Mbappé has. That's what I would be looking to do and thinking of doing. And you're right about France, about the balance. I mean, they've searched for so many answers in terms of their forward line, and Dembele and Giroud and Thuram and left-hand side Mbappé. Who's the other one they played? Barcola. So they've been searching and that's one of the reasons at the minute why they've only got the 3 goals and 2 own goals. But I'm going to go for France here. I think very much like England, I think everyone's maybe waiting for them to click, and this may be it.
I'm going to agree with you, Alan. I think Mbappé bursts into life in this game. I mean, he showed glimmers. Obviously, scored his penalties first ever goal in the European Championship, remarkably. But I think so. I think they'll find a balance. I think Deschamps got that track record, whereas Martinez perhaps hasn't. I think they've got the experience, the know-how, that will to win that's carried them through so many games. And I wonder who he'll play up to. I think he'll definitely play Mbappé on the left. It'd be interesting to see who plays on the right, whether he brings Dembele back, because he brought in Griezmann and played him there.
Yeah, Griezmann as well.
I thought it was a little bit, square peg in a round hole there. I know he plays lots of positions, but we don't generally see him playing out wide. So I think he might bring Dembele back. I mean, he's a bit erratic, Dembele, but on his day, he can be very dangerous. I'm waiting to see the best of Kylian Mbappé, whether the nose thing and the mask has affected him a little bit. I saw he didn't get in the far post for a possible header in the first game. Can't blame him for that at all. But he's the kind of player that turns up on the big occasion, and I agree with Alan in the sense that Pepe is an extraordinary individual to keep going. But I thought he started to look really tired in extra time.
He did, yeah.
I think this game could be very long, could go deep, could even go to penalties. But I don't know. I just think Mbappe's going to come to life and do what he does in the big games and bash in a couple of goals. We shall see. And I think they've also got that slight dilemma, Portugal, with Cristiano Ronaldo, the good and the not so good that he perhaps brings to their side, and the problems with that. Because if Mbappé, as you say, Alan, if he gets one-on-one with Pepe,
Pepe made that big error, didn't he, when Šeško went through and he should have scored. He took the chance too early, didn't he? It was a good save from the goalkeeper. It was a terrible error from Pepe. Yeah. I was surprised he was still on the pitch because he's looked absolutely knackered and he was dead on his feet, wasn't he?
He made the one mistake there is when you're through one-on-one with a goalkeeper, what you've got to do is try and make the goalkeeper commit first.
Yeah.
And he most certainly didn't do that on that particular occasion. But he's a young striker. I thought he showed a lot of potential, actually.
No, I think in terms of him, he was feeding off scraps a lot of the time, wasn't he? But I think he will be a really, really good striker. No doubt about it. A lot of the big boys were after Šeško, weren't they? But he signed his new deal with Leipzig. But I don't think it'll be long before you see him in the Premier League.
I agree. Okay, 2 for France and 1 for Portugal. Mike has separated himself here. We're previewing the quarterfinals, and God, 4 tasty games, no question about that. And we've got 2, Switzerland, England. Which, if you'd have said before the tournament, the quarterfinal would be Switzerland, England, you'd be going, wow, what an opportunity England have here. I
think you still see
it's still an opportunity, but we've not seen this England team play anywhere near their potential, have we yet?
Not at all.
But, if that comes towards the end of the tournament, that's much better than starting well and fading.
Absolutely right. I mean, we have been really poor in all 4 games we've been really poor. Yes, we finished top of the group. Yes, we got through to the quarterfinals. But there's so many question marks still with England. But we've also always said that it just takes a little spark, and that overhead kick, that moment of magic from Bellingham when his country needed him most, might just be that spark. But also, they're up against a good team. Switzerland have impressed. In every position,
They've been one of the most, I think, probably definitely one of the best teams in the tournament, the most organised teams in the tournament, the way they press high at the right times, the way they control the ball through midfield, and Granit Xhaka in particular, with his experience and know-how, they've looked very organised, cohesive, and balanced, which is something that England have not found yet, Micah.
Yeah, they've not found yet, but tactically, I'm looking at this game. I've been looking at the Switzerland games, and there's areas in that team which you can hurt them. When they build up, so they play a 3-4-3 formation. I'll probably talk about the three up front, Vargas and Doy and Mbolo a little bit later on. But when they do go forward, Abisha and Reader, their wing backs go really high. And when you're looking at their back three, Akanji's used to step in midfield. So one-on-one, he's dealt with areas where he has to step out and he gets in them situations. But if I'm looking at this England team now and you've got Cher, and Cher's a very good player, but he does not want to be going into wide areas of the pitch. Same for Rodriguez on the other side as well. I think Southgate, if he's looking at this, he has to play wingers. He has to play Saka or Cole Palmer on the right, and he has to start with Gordon. On transition, once you beat their press, you can hurt them. And I've seen videos of it.
Do you think he will, though?
But I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I think we need to be careful of how we set up because they're wing backs, because they're used to playing this formation. What you don't want is to play 4-3-3 and Saka and Foden, if that is the starting lineup, to come really deep, because then they'll box you in. Then you can't get out and they will dominate the game. We have to, okay, if we want to sit deep, we've talked about our defensive record and it being good. That's no problem. But it's on the transition where we can hurt them the most. I'm looking at these teams and individually, they're okay. They work well as a unit, as a team. But I just believe if we play the right formation, we can do something against this Switzerland side.
I've seen England struggle against teams playing this kind of formation. We saw it in the first two matches, didn't we? And even it was Harry Kane, wasn't it? Said we're a bit confused as how to play against teams that play with the back three, which is concerning. Do you think, Alan, that Gareth will be brave enough to keep his two wide men high? And because there's a danger that England could be dragged back the whole team, and once again that Kane will be separated from the whole side if your two wide men track back and you end up with Kane coming back into and helping out defensively.
I don't see Gareth changing his tactics or his formation. Do you? I mean, I think he'll still go in with a 4, and I think he'll still have Foden on the left hand side, and I think he'll stay pretty much the same. I think he's been very loyal. I think that's what he is, who he is. And he'll try and improve with the players that he'll put out there, or he has put out there. I think he'll go pretty much the same. And hope that England click and hope that they can put a performance in like they did in the first 30 minutes against Serbia. Because other than that, they've been very lucky. And they have to play higher. They have to play with more energy. Otherwise, they'll be knocked out. There's no doubt about that.
Mark Gay is a big miss.
Yeah,
losing Gay is massive.
He's been our best player,
losing,
I think.
You know, I think he's been England's best defender.
Yeah. Definitely.
What do we do left back if Shaw's not ready? Do we go with Gomez, who's played in that position many times for Liverpool? They're all the questions that Southgate has got.
Do you think he'll give him an hour, Luke Shaw? He'll either start with him and give him an hour, or bring him on after an hour, possibly. If he's in condition to play, obviously we don't win.
My argument was, I could only speak from a personal point of view. Whenever I was out for a long time, I always used to prefer the manager to put me in and say, give me 60 minutes or give me whatever I can do, rather than put me on for half an hour or something like that. I much prefer to get out there and to play and let him judge me how long I can last. Yeah,
totally agreed. And it's different as well. If you talk about you warm up for the game, don't you? And then you're ready. When you go and sit on the bench for how long ever it is, you just don't feel that sharpness ready to go straight away.
I think it's going to be a fascinating battle. And you're right. I agree with you guys about Gahey. When you consider, we all thought that England's weakness may be their back four,
but it's not been.
He's been a standout. I think he's been absolutely superb. So it'll be really interesting to see who comes in and how they cope. suspect it may be Konza. But one of Switzerland's strengths is their front three. They've got pace, they've got power, they've got the ability. You saw the Vargas goal when he moved the ball and whipped it in. And Doy can go past players, and Bolo's really strong and can hold the ball and link people, and he's reasonably quick as well. So that's without doubt one of their strengths with the three up front. So fascinated to see how we cope with that.
You know what? In midfield as well is massive. If they're only playing with Freuler and Xhaka in midfield, who Gary asked before, he's been so impressive for Switzerland and being key. But you have to dominate the midfield. That's the area where you think, okay, if you play Rice, Mainu and Bellingham, they've got to step up. They've got to have the rotations. And we're not just talking about, if you look at the way England's set up and on the ball, and once it don't get to Bellingham, he sort of stays in the same position. Or if he doesn't get to Mainu, they need to have the rotations, make it difficult for them. One to step out, one to drop back, come and help Declan Rice when he's on the ball, and just dominate the midfield. I think that's going to be a key area for the game as well.
Okay. Who are we going for?
Take a brave boy or a stupid idiot to go against England.
Stupid idiot. With the way Switzerland have played.
Yeah, well,
and the way England have played.
No, but you're just going to get that much grief for going against England.
Well, I think this could go. I think England are going to win this on penalties. I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be cagey. It's going to be tense. It's going to be a tough watch. And yeah, I think it could go all the way. And I think if it goes to penalties with the players and the penalty takers that England have, I think they'll be favourites to win it in that way. In fact, this sounds mad, but I'd take that now. Penalty shootout.
Honestly, I can't wait. I'm all excited already.
I mean, the thing is, this is unquestionably my heart rule in my head here, by the way. Because I think if I was a neutral and looking at the performances so far, I'd say I'd probably have gone Switzerland. But my heart, and there's part of me that says I don't think there'll be many goals in this game. Wouldn't it be wonderful if England suddenly saw the light, played attacking, scored a load of goals? I mean, that would be bliss. But
that sounds so easy and nice, but
can't see it. Can you?
It's not going to be that easy, no. But I am going to go for England.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him, bottled it.
Oh no,
come on!
You can't tip against your own team. And also, I would say it's like that thing, you can't bet against your own team ever, can you? Because it's horrible. You can't do that. What do you think, Micah?
I think England do enough. I really do.
Is that heart overhead?
That's heart and head. It's both.
And head. Ooh,
it's everything.
Yes.
I just believe that after that moment with Bellingham, that little confidence, Kane as well, it seems like the mood... Because I've been watching their videos as well that they've been putting out on the FA, and they look a little bit more confident now, where before they looked a bit more like there was...
You wait till 10 minutes into the game. I jest.
But trust me, there's areas where we can hurt the Swiss, and I'm going to go with England.
Well, I thought we all might do that.
Funny enough.
Let's go on to the last game. Two teams, certainly Netherlands have found their form in the last game. And Turkey, who I think I called as my dark horse of the tournament. And I think if your dark horse gets to the quarterfinal, you'd take that. This could be a good game. There's a lot of support here for both these, two of the best supported teams in the tournament. The Netherlands fans have turned up in huge numbers. Obviously, Turkey is a big community in Germany, as we've seen. Huge backing. Brilliant at the end of the game with the players. Did you see them all in the circle doing the stuff? Fantastic to watch. I think tactically it'll be really interesting as well, Micah.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest ones for me because...
Çalhanoğlu's back though, isn't he?
Yes, Çalhanoğlu's back. Koku, the Benfica who he plays for, midfielder who's got a thigh injury, and he was excellent in the last game. Gave absolutely everything. Gula, massive. in terms of being able to keep the ball. Yildiz as well on the wing has been impressive. I just don't know if Turkey gave absolutely everything. And
it might have done, yeah.
It might just be one too much for them. Having watching Netherlands, I think Marlon has to start. I thought Bergwijn in the first half was poor. Memphis Depay, obviously hit and miss at the moment, but he could come up with a big goal.
Well,
this is a tough one for me.
Arda Güler is a good player, isn't he? Though what a talent! He is the third teenager to have scored and assisted in the same tournament, in the European Championships. Obviously, who are the other two?
In any Euros.
In any Euros,
Rooney.
Correct.
Oh!
Well played, lads. 2004 and
Rooney and
Kylian.
No, because he didn't score in the Euros until the other day, did he?
It ain't difficult.
How old was he?
Oh,
how old was he at the time?
Well, he was a teenager, you dope.
You fucking idiot.
It could be 16, it could be 17, it could be 18.
Keep backpedaling.
Come on. It's actually blindingly obvious.
Cristiano.
Correct. It's actually blindingly obvious. But he does look a real talent. He's obviously, signed for Real Madrid. He's been there. And they do tend to find good young players, Real Madrid, don't they?
What about their squad next season, Real Madrid? It's not actually fair. They've got Endrick, who we watched at Wembley, who scored the goal. They've got Camavinga and Tchouaméni, backed up by Valverde. You've got Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham, and Mbappé. What is? It's not even. It's like FIFA or Championship Manager. It's not fair, is it?
Anyway, back to the Netherlands.
Yeah,
we did that game. We watched them.
Yeah, they were much better.
I thought they had a bit of everything. I thought they had to defend really well for the first 20 minutes. The way Romania went after them and the press and everything else. And before that game, I wasn't that impressed with them. But they sort of clicked. They clicked in that game. And they should have scored 6 or 7 with the chances that they created and missed. I know they got the 3, but Gakpo was really, really good. Micah's right in terms of Memphis Depay. You don't know what you're going to get, but you could get a piece of brilliance that could win the game. It's a really tough one to call, but I was that impressed with the Netherlands. I'm going to go with them on this one.
The only thing I would say is I think it was a game too far for Romania, and they, after the first 15 minutes when they went hell for leather, once Netherlands started attacking, got their goal, it was very, very one-sided. But yeah, I think this is probably as far as this Turkish team will go. But they have got talent in there, really, really good players. My only thing with Netherlands is up top. I mean, Depay, obviously, he can have his day, and he was brilliantly unlucky in a way when he took the free kick, and we didn't have the draft excluder, and he went underneath the wall and just hit the post, didn't he? So that was a good effort. But he's that sort of player, isn't he? He might produce a moment of absolute brilliance, but then he can be quite infuriating at other times.
Well, he doesn't want to press, does he? So.
I'm going to go Netherlands, though. I think
Gakpo's been playing well, though, guys.
Yeah, Gakpo, apparently. But we're not going to go down that route, I don't think.
Netherlands for me.
My God, he's pondering.
Yes, I'll just go Netherlands.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for the quarterfinals. These are the big guns, all the big guns now, isn't it?
We've had a bit of good mix there as well, haven't we? We've not gone for all the same teams, have we? So
mix, except for the last
interesting.
one. Okay, bring them on.
Yeah.
Before we bid you farewell, let's make sure we're absolutely clear as to who has tipped who. Micah, I'm correct in saying you went Germany, Portugal, England, Netherlands.
Correct.
Alan, Spain, France, England, Netherlands.
Correct.
And I went Germany, France, England, Netherlands. We're all slightly different. Who will be triumphant? As long as England go through, I don't really care. That's all for today's episode of The Rest is Football. Don't forget to join us all tomorrow on BBC One for England versus Switzerland. And don't forget Portugal versus France and Ronaldo against Mbappé. That's going to be great to watch. That game kicks off at 7. That game kicks off at 8 o'clock. You've got to get the time difference right here, haven't we? And but for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Come on, England.
Come on!